I'm sick of lying here all alone and nearly sleepless at night. I'm honest, it's boring. 1,000,000 demons surrounding me, picking a fight. It's toxic. You were the best I ever had, but every second you were screwing me over, and now I'm done with it. I guess that there was no surprise, deleting you out of my mind. Isn't it iconic, standing on the front line, steady going forward without knowing the direction? I need to be honest, it was for the better. Now every day is perfect for a lifelong celebration. Go ahead.
Alright, what is up everybody? It's Joe from JLW Games coming at you with another cool video. We're back in Windland Adventure Resort, and today we're back with episode 2, and we're going to be starting on the first resort hotel, which I was super excited to get into. Last episode, we actually worked on the highway and kind of like the off-ramp going into the, entering the park area and everything. So what we're going to be doing here is, to start off things, we're going to be building a little toll booth, a little parking booth, as you enter the main parking lot and area for the park. So basically we're going to have the hotels on the inside here. We'll have parking for those, and then also we're going to have general parking for just the, the parking for the park itself. And yeah, so today we're going to start on the Adventure Hotel, which is going to be the hotel that is adjacent from the main dry park. We're going to have 2 hotels to start in this project, and that is going to be the Adventure Hotel, and then we're going to have the Paradise Adventure Hotel, which is going to be adjacent with the water park. So we're going to have a water park hotel and then the dry park hotel. So they're all both going to have their different hotels that go with the parks. So in the future, if we actually do build a third park, which in this resort, which I do plan on doing, it will just be a future expansion to the park, basically. After we get more updates to the, more DLC and updates and such, I definitely want to add on to the park. Again, if you guys want to check out the progress of this park, I do have it available on the workshop as well. And I'm going to be constantly updating it every time a new episode comes out. So when a new episode comes out, make sure you're updating your park file if you do have it as well. I don't know if I mentioned that, but in the description below, you can download this park and the work in progress file. So that way you guys can check in on the park while I'm building it. And I'm going to keep it updated as I go along as well. So share code in the description if you want to put in the code for the Frontier Workshop. That way you guys can download the park yourselves. If you're on console, you might want to download it soon. I'm not even sure. I may have already gone over the build limit for all I know, but if you're on console, you might not have luxury to get in the final product, because I can definitely tell you I'm going to be going over that limit pretty quickly, probably. So, but if you're on PC, you don't have to worry about that. So anyways, so going into these toll booths, I spent quite a substantial amount of time, longer than I wanted to on these, but it's all right. They ended up turning out all right, and I probably didn't make this big or as big as I wanted to. I only have like 4 booths and 4 lanes in the end for this to work out. I didn't really think it out as well as I should have. I still used inspiration, but as how the traffic works, I didn't really plan it out as much, but it ended up working in the end. And I really started to think a little bit after I made all this, that I should probably have like some sort of bus entrance or bus lane. And I wish I would have thought of that before, because I actually had to kind of improvise a little bit, even though I had, most of this planned out, because I was like, the buses probably wouldn't be using these little toll booths you know, and it would probably be going in its own route. So we do have like a little bus lane that we have to branch off on to, but we had to make like a little intersection for it to kind of work, which we'll get into later in the video. But this is one of the longest time-lapse videos I've ever done on my channel. You know, I've recorded many different clips in this recording, like multiple days of work here, because you know, the first episode I recorded like 3+ hours, somewhere around there. It was over 3 hours of footage that I did, and in this one it's even more so. Like I think I did like, oh man, if I had to add it all up, this first set of clips are just under 2 hours, and then I had another one that was like just under 2 hours too, so it was well over 3. It's probably close to between 3 and 4 hours of footage. I'd say it's probably fairly close to 4, if not over 4. I would have to do all the math in my head, but that's a lot of of footage that I've actually compiled together for each episode, and these episodes are going to be huge. This park is going to be huge, and there's a lot of detail that's going into this park. So like, I'm a fairly slow builder, so I'm trying to do a lot of substantial episodes, so like a lot feels like it's been done in each episode, and I feel like I got that accomplished here pretty well. But we don't end up finishing the first hotel resort in this episode, but we get a good portion of it. I still have a lot to do, and I got the main structure of the building, which you've probably seen in the photos, and I've teased it a lot, you know, lately. But yeah, I will say that everything that you're seeing being built in this park and in this build is all something that was inspired by something. So everything is getting inspiration. I'm getting inspiration for each thing I build in this park. So you might recognize a few things from like Universal in general. So for the highway, I was actually looking at like highways and exits for around the Universal area. It's not exactly the same. Obviously, I put my own little twist on it and make it my own, but the inspiration is definitely there. Same for this parking booth. I actually used a little bit inspiration from Universal's parking booth. I've never actually been through it, but I was using Google Maps and Google and everything, and obviously it's not exactly the same. Mine's a little bit smaller, for sure, and the inspiration kind of came a little bit from there, like the shaping, colors, and such like that. It has kind of like those greens and maybe kind of bluish tint to it, but it's all like those different colors, same kind of colors and kind of concept, so it works pretty well. But yeah, that's where that inspiration comes from. And then for the first hotel, which we'll get into here shortly, is based off of the Aventura Hotel at Universal as well, which is visually stunning, awesome hotel that I've always wanted to do a hotel similar to that, and I shaped mine a little bit differently and everything like that, and mine's called the Adventure Hotel. So you can see the parallels, you can see the similarities between these builds that I'm doing. And for the other hotel that is going to be for the water park, I'm thinking about doing something similar to Cabana Bay potentially, and I have a cool idea. There's a little bit of a hill, there's some terrain on that edge over there, and my goal, of course, is to not use a ton of the map for parking lots and hotels. I want to try and be very limited of how much space I'm using for these, because the parks are going to be the biggest part of the whole build, and we're limited to the size that we're in here, so I need to be very careful how much space I'm using up, because there's a lot of park stuff that we want to do, and I do want to do like a small little city walk potentially, kind of like Universal has, you know, where you have like, it's probably going to be a little bit smaller scale again, because it's going to be kind of like part of the entrance area, and we'll have like a little city walk where we have like some, you know, restaurants and some gift shops and everything like that, and something very similar. But again, everything's going to be a little bit on a smaller scale compared to probably Universal slightly, but I want the parks to be pretty large for the most part. So, but I wanted to make sure we had the hotels in, we have a parking lot in, and just so we have a world that connects everything to the park. And it looks really, really good. So I really wanted to get I had to get my idea here for this hotel. Obviously, I had, like pictures and references to the Aventura Hotel, and I made my own kind of spin on it, of course, and I made my kind of the windows and the wall pieces that I wanted to do here. And then I just basically went in and used the combination of the snap distance and the angle snap to try and make it as perfect as possible. There is one section that was slightly off when we got to the end, but I kind of adjusted it, and as long as, I mean, you guys know about it now, but it's not a huge deal. So you'll never notice it. So it's one of those things. And so yeah, so we go around and I make the shape very similar, but it's not exactly the same. The Aventura Hotel kind of has these 3 rounded sections, and they're very even. And it has more straight sections than not, but I made mine completely rounded and then a straight section in the back. So you see you can see the inspiration there, but it's obviously its own thing. I made the shape a little bit different. My windows are probably a little bit different, and all that stuff. I was gonna go kind of with this little quarter, 4 quarters, but I decided to stick with the 3 rounded sections and then just do a straight back. That way in the back that's where I'm gonna put the pool area and everything like that for the resort itself, because it's gonna have its own little pool. And then I also counted how many floors the Aventura Hotel has. I forgot exactly what it was. It was 11 or 12, so I did about roughly the same on this one as well. I made sure I had a good amount of that. So this thing is a lot of pieces. I think it's well over 10,000 pieces in the end, which is crazy. So I also had to do the roof and the bottom pieces. And for the roof, I knew I had to round it all the way around, which was going to take some time. And when you do complex shapes like that, sometimes it's going to take a minute. And it wasn't as hard because all of these were on an angle snap, all the wall pieces were, so I was able to kind of just snap them into place pretty easily, actually. So it didn't take as long as I was thinking, and then I was like, man, I can just copy this to the bottom of the hotel as well. So and we'll have the lobby area and everything like that at the bottom, which we'll get into as well. I also wanted to do, you'll see at the end of the video, when I come back to the hotel, I actually do want to make a little bar at the very top. So a little area, maybe a small restaurant area, a little bar area at the very top, so you can get those amazing views of overlooking the whole park and everything from the very top part of the hotel. So there's going to be a really cool little bar top for that itself. And I actually think I had a crash here, so I actually had to rebuild what I just did there real quick off screen and then come back into it. So just a fun little behind the scenes thing that I did there. I actually did have to come back and fix it all up because we did have a crash in the game. Don't know what really caused it. Sometimes the only crashes I've really had in the game have been kind of random and nothing that I could really put my finger on what caused them. Very, very interesting, but I don't have them very often. So I know a lot of people keep saying they have a lot of crashes coming in. By the time this video comes out, Hotfix 4 will come out, and a lot of it, I think it's supposed to focus a lot on the crashes of the game and some other fixes. So hopefully that is the case. So, but we have more of this little lobby area, which is going to be pretty awesome because I want to make sure that I'm putting as much detail as I can into a lot of these things. I hope you guys know the scale of this project is a lot bigger than probably anything I've ever done on my YouTube channel to begin with. Like, this project is going to be absolutely massive. I think the biggest project I've done kind of before, obviously, was probably like the Silver Dollar City recreation, or potentially like my own original parks. Probably like Time City was a big ambitious. It's going to be like Time City scale, like if not bigger, obviously. And the main thing is here, I'm going to be putting a lot more effort into it. I'm not going to cut any corners. I do tend to have the bad habit of actually going in, and when we get closer to the end, sometimes I'll just rush it and try and get it done with. That happens way too often with my projects, and I have like completely vowed and completely made like a pledge to myself saying that I am not going to do that in this build. Everything is going to be like the best it can possibly be, okay? So anyways, if you know the Adventure Hotel, it's got this really cool sign that says Aventura Hotel on the top of it like that. So I used that inspiration, of course, for the big word letterings right there. And then, of course, this is going to be where like the lobby and everything's in. We're going to have like a little driveway, and we're going to have a little bit of some temporary parking spots for those that are in the lobby and such like that, checking in and all that stuff. We'll have some hotel parking nearby, which will also kind of blend with the general parking of the hotel, the park as well. I'm trying to debate whether I want to do some like parking garages or not. I've never been the biggest fan of how they look, so like I'm not sure if I'll do any parking garages yet. I know that Universal has them, and it helps a lot with spacing and allows you to have a lot of parking without using up as much space. So obviously we're going to have a bus drop off here for the visitors of the hotel. They're going to be able to get free shuttles into the front of the park. So we are going to have a functional, I might add, transport ride with the buses here. Same with the ones that are coming into the park. Everything's going to be functional. I'm going to be putting guest spawners inside the hotels and wherever these transport rides are. And my hope is that we're going to have to test it once we get a full loop in. But my hope is that the guests will actually ride them into the park. So just to make sure it works, I also put an park entrance inside of the hotels as well. So technically they're inside the park once they come out, and then they'll just see this as a ride or a transport ride that transports them from one part of the park to the other. But in reality, it's basically transporting them from a hotel to over here. So like, even though we don't have hotels in the game, I'm gonna make this feel as functional as possible. Because we're gonna have like pools and stuff over here, so there's gonna be stuff for guests to do in this area, to make it look like they're staying at the hotel and everything, because we'll have the little pool area, maybe a little bar back in there. So and then when they want to go to the main part of the park, obviously they can take the shuttle there, which will be pretty cool. So it is going to be fully functional. I've had people asking me about that, like, oh, it'd be so cool if the people would actually ride them. I'm like, that's going to be the goal. For people to ride these shuttles, and also same with the cars as well, because that's also going to be attached to a track ride. So we'll see how it all goes and plays out in the end. So I'm very, very excited to get like all this parking stuff functional and everything. So once we hopefully get to the front of the park and actually start building in the park, hopefully we'll already have all this done and everything, because we're gonna get all of the resorts and the resort hotels and the parking lot. We're gonna get all of that done before we even get into the park. And my goal is to only have a few episodes of parking lot and resort stuff. So that's why these episodes are going to be very long right now, is because we are going to try and get all of those together and get those in a few episodes, and that way we can move on to more things. And I'm trying to stay as active as I can and trying to get these out to you guys very efficiently. So you'll notice, maybe you might notice, I did post as well about this, that I kind of want to try and get these episodes out weekly. You may have also noticed that I've been putting a lot more effort into like editing and really the presentation of these episodes. So it takes a little longer to make these episodes because, one, I'm putting a lot more footage than what I usually do in my other videos. So the time lapses are longer, there's a lot more footage, and typically I get like, my episodes are like 10 to 15 minutes at most, sometimes 20, but like very, very rarely. But this episode's like over 35 minutes long, so like you can see that we're definitely putting in a lot more footage and a lot more content into these episodes. So I'm giving myself about a week per episode because that gives me plenty of time to compile enough footage, because all this footage was taken within multiple days, within like a 4 or 5 day span of me off and on working on it. And I mean like hours and hours of footage here compact into about a 35-minute video. So and I was actually thinking about doing even more for this episode, but time was starting to run out and I knew I needed to get another episode out, and I've already had put in like, oh gosh, like I said, over 4 hours plus of footage in this episode probably, because I wanted to get the entire resort complete for this episode, and that did not end up happening because a lot of these areas took a lot longer than I expected, such as this these planter areas that I made for like the lobby. I want to make the entrance of the hotel really, really nice looking, so I really wanted to put the effort in for all that, and it was a very tedious process to get all of this in here and fill all this in with like the planter pieces, but it's always so worth it. Like, I don't enjoy I think it's one of the more tedious parts is doing like the curbs and doing like custom planter areas like this, but the end result is usually always worth it. It makes it look so much better overall, and visually, like you can put more, when you put the plants in there and just make it look nice, it really looks great against the pathing and also, in this case, roads. It just adds that little bit element of just, it just looks good, I always recommend doing like planters alongside your paths and paths and everything as much as you can, because it just overall makes the world and area look a lot better overall. And then of course we got to light it up with some lights as well. So we got a lot more to do though. I wanted to do a little bit of lighting in this as well, because I think a hotel like this would have some really cool lights going up it. This isn't the end of all the lighting we're gonna do. We're gonna do more, but because I want the light to kind of make it all the way to the top. But this is just a little bit of start, a little bit of taste of what we're doing for the lighting for this, because we're gonna focus a lot on lighting a lot in this park, so it's gonna look really cool at night, and that's my goal for the park as well. The park's gonna look fantastic at night as well. So so this is the part where I think I was like, man, I need to get like a bus lane. I was kind of thinking here, that's probably why we're just kind of sitting there for a minute. I need to get a bus lane in here. So I put like, started off with like this path here, and then I also had to test it out with the bus track ride itself, just make sure it could make these turns as well, because that was also a challenge, because with Planet Coaster 2, we don't have mods to make these track pieces shorter like we had in Planet Coaster 1. So the track pieces are very long, and you have to make pretty wide turns with these things. You can't make sharp turns, so it was a challenge to do this. I'm still not sure if I'm satisfied with how this turned out, because I was like, I have to put like a stoplight here and everything like that. So I used these stoplights from the workshop, which are very popular, by the way. Shout out to them that made it. But yeah, I had to make like this turn, and to me, I'm like, would this even make sense? I'm thinking about putting in like a little stopper, like a little thing, so like if you're not a bus, you can't just turn into the bus lane, or maybe we can make it to where like in real life you could think there'd be like a staff member that would say, hey, you're not a bus, you shouldn't be coming through here, but I'm still not sure exactly how I feel about this, or if I'm going to keep it just yet, or if I should just get rid of it. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section. Help me out here. I'm not... maybe you guys might feel the same way. Again, I'm not a big engineer or how to make roads and stuff, or I'm not like a big road designer. Like, I don't know, but like it just looks very awkward and out of place the way it turned out, and I'm not very satisfied. So that's why I didn't go too far into it, because I was like, I'm not sure about this just yet. So let me know in the comment section if you guys have any better ideas for it, or maybe I should kind of slightly edit. Maybe it'd be a good idea to kind of just make an extra lane to the right. And I think that's might be what I end up doing, is like, before we get to the booths here, there's an extra far right lane that will be for maybe buses, to go through, and I think it'd be a lot less complicated and just look a little bit more cleaner. So I think that's what we might do in the next episode, but let me know in the comment section if you got a better idea for the bus lane. I think that's what we're going to kind of look at, though, is it's kind of like a little bypass of the the toll booths for buses only, so they kind of have their own little road to go on. That way they aren't sitting in that because they're just planning on going up and dropping people off. So yeah, so I wanted to do a little bit of some parking spots here for the entrance of the hotel. That way, if maybe it is backed up, for the drop-off area, you have a spot to park for a minute and go and check into your room or whatnot, and it just allows the cars to do that. It doesn't need to be a big lot, because most of the cars are just going to be there for a few minutes. So but anyways, I wanted to do like this rounded lot at first. I ended up scrapping this though, because I don't know how to make apparently I don't know how to make angled parking spaces very well. So I was like, I'm not liking how this looks, and then I ended up just getting rid of it to begin with. It was a little bit too much of road anyways, and I was just like, I'll just create like a little road that leads into that, and a little entrance and exit for this tiny little parking lot, and then we'll just decorate it later. So that's kind of the what we went with for that. And I wanted to make a little sidewalk here that leads up to, so you can just walk up into the lobby. So that is very nice. And then just like a nice little scenic area here in the middle, which I didn't really mention earlier, but looks really, really nice for if you just want to, if you're waiting on maybe someone checking in, you can just hang out there or something. I'm not sure. It just looks nice for the most part. I just needed something to fill it in. With that looks nice with scenery as you're driving up to this awesome looking hotel. So anyways, yeah, just get some more arrows in here. Yeah, absolutely, lots of arrows. And obviously we have a little bus lane as well, that will also be a part of that for the bus. And then I also needed to do like more curbs and different things like that to do this. This was probably the most tedious part, was placing in all of these curbs all the way around and doing this planter. But in the end, it was worth it, because it did take a lot of time, but it did turn out looking pretty good and pretty solid. I was pretty happy with the results, and we got ourselves a nice little road right here with some nice curbs that I think actually look really good with the road, if you ask me. So pretty happy with that result. So, and then how many times am I going to say that? I'm going to create some sort of drinking game by accident, aren't I? But anyways, I'm running out of things to say because of how long this episode is. We're getting to that point, aren't we? So, but here in a little bit, after we get done with this, we do end up working a little bit on the rooftop, because we're going to, again, create like a really cool, like, little bar area up there where you can get some stunning views. I can't wait to get like some shots from up there, up of the park. I think it'll be really, really cool because you're going to be able to see a lot of the park and overlook the park. And I'm really, really excited to get some really cool coasters that are going to be in the make a really nice skyline. That's what I'm excited for. So I don't know if I've really confirmed a lot of these sections that are going to be in the park itself, so we can discuss that a little bit. I'm still kind of in the planning stages of everything that's going in there. It's going to be a little bit before we get in there, so I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want in there. I know for a fact, 100%, we're going to have a Viking themed area, kind of inspired by Isle of Berk from Epic Universe. It's going to be pretty well inspired by that. It's not going to have the How to Train Your Dragon IP or anything, but we're going to create a really cool storyline area around that inspiration. You know, I'm not sure if I'll include dragons or not. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm not entirely, haven't made that decision yet if I'm going to maybe it'll be, because at that point it might be a little bit too close to How to Train Your Dragon. So I don't want it to be obviously a complete copy of it. I just want it to be obviously inspired by that land. So we're going to create our own little Viking village of some sorts that will have some really cool rides as well. I'm thinking about doing like some cool Intamin style coasters, you know, some thrill rides. You know, How to Train Your Dragon is probably going to be more of a family oriented section of that of Epic Universe anyways. Their coaster there is a family coaster and such, and you know, it has a lot of more kid rides in there. There are some thrill rides in there too, but I feel like it's more family oriented more than anything. There's a theater and such like that. Really, really cool area that I'm very excited for. I'm actually really looking forward to it once I do finally when I do get out to Epic Universe after it opens, which we're just months away from that, which is crazy to think about, you know. The Epic Universe is going to be opening up very, very soon. So but man, I'm excited to visit that park, and I'd imagine by the time I visit that park, I'll still be working on this park, I'd imagine. That's just kind of my guess, and then the inspiration's just gonna go crazy at that point, you know, like who knows where we'll be on the park then, and then I'll probably have like a craze of just wanting to work on this even more so. But yeah, we're gonna be getting custom media into the game pretty soon. When we do get that, I can't wait, because I'm gonna be putting, hopefully we can attach the like screens, like the TV screens, and be able to put them on like the track rides. I think we can, because there's already screens in the game, we just can't add our own custom stuff yet. So, and they're just scenery pieces pretty much. So my idea is to put in like some logos or some really cool art and stuff like that that would work to, for the side of the bus, so you can put that on there. I wonder if we can resize the TV screens like we can with the other scenery pieces. That's actually a good question. I guess we'll find out February 13th when, you know, that next update comes out. So if you guys didn't know, February 13th is when the next major update is coming out. We'll be receiving custom media, interchangeable coaster trains, which are two of the things that I'm super excited for, by the way, which is the main reason why I decided to start this project when I did, because I know now we have a time frame, an idea of when these updates are coming out. So since that update's coming up next, within just a few weeks, we'll be able to utilize that once that update gets here. So that's gonna be pretty awesome. So I can't wait, because I'm gonna be adding a lot of storytelling elements and theming, and just like a lot of stuff for dark rides, because the parks I'm gonna be building in here, yeah, there's gonna be dark rides, you know, kind of like Universal style dark rides, and I'm very excited to get into stuff like that. Like, I absolutely cannot wait to get into some of the dark rides that we're going to be able to do. But yeah, Viking section, very, very much a 100% guarantee of what I'm going to do. The Viking set is one of my favorites in the game right now. So definitely going to do a Viking section area. As for the park hub, I'm definitely going to still do like a space theme, I haven't come up completely. I've been kind of pondering the ideas of some of the names that I'm going to come up with for them, but I'm definitely going to do like a space-ish kind of theme, kind of like Celestial Park and Epic Universe. We're going to have like kind of a little bit of some space theming, you know, which will be really, really cool and really fun. So I really utilized up here using the draw tool for the top of the hotel here, because I was like, this is perfect for the draw tool, you know. But of course, I had to make sure we had a stairway ready to go downwards. And so for those wondering, no, I'm not going to have an interior for the building. It's just going to be, it would be way too many pieces. So I think we're just going to stick with just making a stairway down there so we can visually have guests coming up to this bar. It'll be really cool. So that's about gonna do it for this episode, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see these episodes early, make sure you become a channel member. It helps support the channel more, and you guys get that perk too. So make sure you comment, like, and subscribe for more amazing content like this as well, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.